Hi, I am Esko, and what you are about to see is an introduction. I am going to introduce myself and maybe some of my Schaublin model 51 milling machine to the machining community. In addition to that, I'm trying to cast some light on my plans for this channel. Well, this is my first video and for this reason I'm a little bit nervous, and of course I am very unexperienced on making this kind of stuff, and therefore I have written myself a storyboard here in my laptop. And if you wonder what I'm pausing, why I'm pausing sometimes and looking like this is because I'm just reading my storyboard. And all this stuff here, this is just to keep my fingers busy so that I don't get too nervous. And yeah, a fair warning to everybody, this video is not going to contain any machining. It is just an old man talking. And hopefully you don't skip to next video, or you can do that, but I try to make this somewhat interesting. So, I'm a Finnish guy, and I'm not a typical specimen of a Finnish guy. I'm talking. Finnish people are not supposed to be talking. At least if you believe what they say in internet, everywhere, like Kimi Räikkönen, only answering and so on. Well, yeah, I'm a Finnish man. That was the point here. Furthermore, I'm not a machinist. I'm a program developer. I develop programs for data warehouses. I have done a fair deal of embedded software. I have done some hardware development for electronics. It has been my hobby for very long time. In addition to that, it contains some mechanics, and things led to another, and nowadays I'm really interested in doing some very nice things out of metal. And actually these two things can be combined in a way, and yeah, this is the reason why I have purchased an old milling machine. And this one is actually a Schaublin model 51. It's really old. It's made back in 1955 in Switzerland, and was delivered to a Swedish company the same year. Yes, and since I'm not very experienced with this kind of things, well, I will be doing a lot of mistakes, and I hope that these mistakes, I will not hide them. I will not make any new cuts or put these videos, edit these or anything. I will probably only, well, not even cut parts away. Maybe if I'm machining something very lengthy thing, I will cut away parts of that. But all the mistakes will be there. If I succeed, that's also a good thing. And I hope this will reveal something of the process of doing this kind of things, like learning how to do things. At the moment, I am in an assignment here in Frankfurt, Germany. My first intention was to make this video in Deutsch, but then first of all, my German is not that good, and then my vocabulary in machining terms in German language is not enough. I would not be able to talk about the things in German language, and yeah, it's probably also so that most of the machining videos are made in English language. So yeah, well, I had the thought that I would make this in Finnish and put an English text down there below. But then I thought, oh shit, this is too much of work. It would be somewhat nice for my Finnish friends, but it's a lot of work and it doesn't actually add anything to the thing. So, about this Schaublin Model 51. I haven't seen it. It's in my friend's garage in Finland. Oh, this one went dead, okay. My storyboard just went black. And it's in my friend's garage in Finland, this Schaublin. I haven't seen it. My friend was friendly enough, kind enough to take it somewhat, take some inspection on it, so that I actually now know. These are tight. So my friend, I actually now know that it at least has a broken variator. This milling machine has two variators actually. One is for the spindle and the other one is for the feeds. So both of them are stepless, continuously variable speeds for both of them. Yeah, so I'm really wanting to see my thing. And hopefully it will be soon enough. Well, this Schaublin actually it's not very usual milling machine. Those of you who have been working with Bridgeport will find it really strange. First of all, it does not have a quill. If you want to bore a hole, you have to lift the board up, and if you want to, so yes, it doesn't have a quill. Yeah, and then again, it has an, I believe in English that is articulating milling head. So you can turn it around all 360 degrees. How many times you want, you can spin it like witches spin their heads. This one spins. And then you can also tilt it the other way. So actually this machine, when you want to use it as a vertical milling machine, you put the head straight and push it into the body, and there you are. The output is directly horizontal, and you can do some horizontal milling. or is it vertical? Anyway, the rolling things that are the spinning happens horizontally and the milling happens this way. And then again, if you want to do some very normal milling, then you just turn it around. And furthermore, this milling head has indexes, so it locks up in the spinning motion, the 260 degrees motion, locks in, I remember, 15 degrees. In every 15 degrees there is a notch which you can index it. Same is also true for the other way around, and I assume in this case my friend checked these are all intact, not broken. Especially the big rotating indexing, the 15 degrees thing is easy to break up. It's really easy. You always have to, when you index it, then you lock it and then you remove the index, so it doesn't, the indexing mechanism is not strong enough to hold the milling forces. So you have to use the lock, not the index, for that purpose. Okay, so this is model 51, this Schaublin, and it's kind of a rare machine. Not many of these were manufactured, and they were like overlapped with model 52, and soon after that came a more popular model 53, and finally model 53N. Well, if you want to know more about the history of these machines, there is not extensive, but some information is available in lathes.co.uk. Well, I assume everybody knows that site. Actually, I got my German manual from there, and yes, it is an operational manual, and well, maybe I can use it. Well, I have to use it. Yeah, okay. And why I am actually doing this? Why I am speaking you here, trying to introduce myself and so on, and no machining whatsoever. Well, one reason is that this milling machine, Schaublin 51, is really rare. It's very special, and what I want to do is to do a practical restoration for it. And by this I mean that I will use it. I won't restore it to its original condition all the way. Some of the things are a little bit out of date. For example, it has 3 motors in it. One motor is for the spindle. Another motor is taking care of the feeds, all the feeds, and yet another motor for the coolant pump. Yes, this all and all of these motors are 3-phase motors. The normal European 380 volt thing. And now, in my ham shack, yes, I have a ham shack, I don't have 3-phase power. I can put it there, but, well, it's not my first intention to do that. Instead, I'm going to put inside this nice machine, I'm going to put 3 couples of VFDs, one for each motor. This is going to be, there are, one reason is that I don't want to, at first at least, I don't want to introduce the 3-phase feed in my hamsack. The other reason is that the modern VFDs are really motor friendly and they are mechanic friendly. It means that when you start a motor, it will start softly. It won't, like if you put it into a 3-phase current, it will pump. It will start right away to full speed. No, this one starts not slowly. You can program it, but it starts softly anyway. Furthermore, when you stop the motor, it will break it. Normally when everything is working nice, for example the spindle, it will turn around not a half minute, but it will turn probably 5 seconds after you stop it. When you use a VFD, it will stop there. Not like it would jam, but it will stop softly and fast. It's a really nice thing to have. I have in my Chinese lathe, I have this this thing, and it's really nice. The stopping especially is really nice. And maybe the start up too. Okay. So this is one thing I'm going to do, and because of this, when you put a VFD in an old machine, this means that you have to have certain kind of a motor. The old motors do not tolerate modern VFDs. They will break down. The first thing that happens is the isolation between the windings, the copper wire inside there. The isolation, back in 1955, it was made of probably shellac. And this material is not very tolerable to high voltages. When you use an VFD, they will generate a very high voltage peaks there in the motor. It's their nature, they do that. And this one will actually, it will break down the barrier, the isolation, and when that is done, the motor is kaput. No more usable. It will, the next thing you will notice, it will be smoking, and then you have the nice smell everywhere, and not very nice. So it means that I have to replace the motors. Well, it is not my intention to throw away the old motors. I will actually clean them up and spare them. Just if somebody wants to put them back. Same thing about all the relays in there. There is a bunch of relays inside this machine. Of course, because it is driven by small switches which in their turn will drive the relays, and there is a relay logic inside there. And this one is going to be replaced by VFDs. They have all the needed logic inside them. There is so these will be also taken away, but not thrown away. They will be saved somehow, so that if somebody wants to put this thing in its really original condition, it's still possible. So as far as I know, all the motors are very standard in this one. There will be no trouble at all replacing them. Well, if not, there will be some very fun adapter making going on. Will be Well, I don't know. Hopefully not too bad. Yes. Well, and this is actually one video, part of the video series I'm going to do is how to do a practical restoration for such a lathe. Actually, I'm going to do it in a way that nothing can be seen outside, so that all the speed things, if they function exactly as they did. Actually, it will be using the mechanical variator. I'm not going to use the VFD's frequency alternating these properties. I'm going to run it exactly on 50 Hz and that's it. Okay, the main motor, the spindle motor, is a 2-speed model. This probably will involve doing something like running it either with 50 Hz or 100 Hz. Anyway, the spinning speed will be adjusted so that all the markings on the side of the milling machine will be usable. So that if you can read the 300 revolutions per minute, it turns 300 revolutions per minute, and it will be using the mechanical variator. That's my plan, because actually when you run this motor with low speed, it will actually, if you use VFD only, it will actually give you less torque, what's that English word? Yes, less power. And when you are using the variator, the motor is running at full power, but it reduces mechanically the revolutions and thus gives you more torque when you use that. So that's actually the reason why I'm going to use the mechanical variators inside there. One other video will be preparing the base for this machine. Actually, the manufacturer recommends to bolt this machine down to the base. This one has adjustable feet, but it's quite top heavy, this machine, and I'm a little bit afraid that it could tip if I use the feet. And somebody suggested me to put even 10 centimeter high wheels under that one, so that I easily can move it. Well, yes, after that you can move it easily, and they might also be lockable. It would be possible to lock them, but it is 10 centimeters higher, and this means that it's that much more unstable. I'm not really, I'm a little bit afraid because it's not exactly a light machine. So I will follow the manufacturer's recommendation and bolt it down to its base. And the base will be something like there will be concrete and a steel plate on top of that, and then this machine will be bolted on that steel plate. Well, hopefully that it will be something I have never done and it will be probably a fun thing to do. Then this milling machine. The spindle variator is broken. It will be one of the first things I do. I need to do some boring in a lathe and make a new axle to that one, because of course you cannot find any spare parts for this kind of thing. It's next to impossible to find actually anything. So I will probably have to make it. But what I have now seen, it's quite a simple thing to make. So you have, the only thing is that you have to be accurate. So well, why it broke is a really nice thing, because you know, back the variator is sitting back of the machine behind the door, and behind the door, behind the variator, is a very small oil cup. This oil cup should be kept full. And now the instruction manual, the operational manual doesn't, there is not a single word mentioning this oil cup. And now, of course, because it's behind the variator, behind the door, and everything else is like really well the lubrication is very visible and very obvious where to put the things. Yes, so for this reason it's very easy to forget about this oil cup there behind the door. Okay, and it was neglected, and well, it's totally destroyed. There was a bronze cylinder inside which there was is a steel axle, and this had been all sewn up. It's really a mess. But fortunately this bronze thing is still, it's still possible to bore it straight and then make a little bit bigger axle, which then suits. It's just doing things accurately. That's the only thing. You have to make this, but after that it will be like new. Well, and besides of this, all this restoration thing, of course, it has to be cleaned. It's quite clean, but when you go under the basement of the machine is actually a container, reservoir for coolant, and this is a mess. There is some swarf and something that reminds me of a soap. My friend sent me a picture about this stuff, and it has to be, maybe, I don't know how to clean it up, but it has to be cleaned up and taken away. And of course the coolant pump is probably full of the same stuff, and so on. These kind of things. And then of course I need to check all the tolerances, that they are okay, and so on. I don't know how much use has been put on this machine. Time will tell. But what I will mainly make it for use. I will use it for something. I'm not restoring it for a display item. I'm doing it to make some use of it. And that's the reason for the VFDs and new motors and so on. Okay, so that's the plan. And I'm going to show this process in this channel. I hope you... Well, at first it will be planning, a lot of virtual machining, nothing really real, nothing tangible. Yes, but I hope even this planning will be, at least for me, it interesting part, because you have to, yeah, you have to plan. Yes. Okay, this is the content of this channel. Then, as I promised, I will talk about the future of some of the principles of this channel. First of all, no ads, no advertisements, no advertising. If this YouTube wants to put some advertisement on front and back, there is nothing I can do for that, but I will do everything I can to keep all the ads away, if possible. Another thing is that there will be no merchandise, no t-shirts, no nothing like that. I'm not going to earn money on this channel. The only purpose for doing this is to show this quite rare machine. I know there are people who are interested to see this kind of machine. There is one guy, you probably all know him, he's Tony, who has a Schaublin, but it doesn't have this type of head. It's a little bit smaller, but it's still, he has the same things with this one. I believe this is going to be some fun. And yeah. And then I'm not going to do any video editing or anything like this. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. I can always correct them. It's the life. It's how we do it. And I hope I make some really stupid mistakes, so everybody can see, oh, you can do it that way too. Yeah, it will be fun, actually. Admitting your mistakes and correcting them, you should do that. Not hide them, not edit away mistakes and so on. Okay. Yeah, so it means uncut videos. Okay, of course I will remove the really boring parts if there is some, because I don't want to kill you with hours of spinning metal. It's not safe, sane. So what will be the next video? I think I will do a video about the basement for this mill, how I intend to build it. And let's see if there comes some suggestions how to do this. Yeah. And once more, the milling machine is Schaublin model 51. And till my next video, have some fun and especially keep safe.